Right now, the world needs your wisdom. If there was one message you could give and send out to all of humanity right now, what would it be? Today on Awaken and Ascend, Deb King joins me from New South Wales, Australia, as a happiness ambassador here to uplift and inspire you. Deb King is an award-winning coach's coach and promoter of conscious businesses uplifting humanity. Over the last 20 years, she has coached, mentored, trained, and worked with thousands of people globally. In 2020, Deb co-founded the Wisdom Playground, a new era business incubator that explores doing business in fresh ways that create better results with greater ease, joy, and impact. Deb describes herself as the happiness ambassador and enthusiastic human with a passion for music, travel, life, people, and all things that enhance well-being. Her unconventional career includes being a bouncer at a nightclub in London, plus a range of other leadership, sales, and marketing roles. Today, she now utilizes all of her skills, supporting coaches, healers, practitioners, and leaders to get their wisdom out into the world and truly thrive. Deb, it is so wonderful to have you here with us today. I'm so excited to hear from you and about this whole wisdom playground. I loved even just the persona of that. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you, Jennifer. Very, very cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm curious, Deb, like having these unconventional careers and doing marketing, so being out in that kind of field, and then also connecting with a lot of others like healers and practitioners. And what is it that you feel helps you to thrive in your work?
That's a really good question. Well, one thing is I do feel reflecting, like as my business partner says, we don't learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. So that's something I didn't really do a lot of when I was younger. And I was all party and keep moving and seeking externally for happiness and all of that. And I think that we're actually here to get to know ourselves, and there's so many signs happening all the time showing us messages. And so when we actually tune in and really connect with our inner wisdom and our heart, that can guide us to the most joy and awesomeness possible. And sometimes it doesn't make sense from our head. So really to thrive, it is right getting out of our head a bit and dropping into our heart and following the inner guidance, I would say.
Yes, and we all want to do that, right? We all want to be coming from our heart and to experience, and definitely to be able to clear our head and calm our minds. And yet so many people struggle with that. So what helped you to be able to do that, to connect head with heart?
Okay, so I have done a lot of personal development, had a lot of mentors, been through a lot of a journey with that. I don't think you have to do it for as intense. Like I think there's much more ways to fast track now. And there's many tools. One of my favorites is simply heart breathing, which is where you put your attention on your heart. We can do it together now.
Let's do that.
Imagine that you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. And if you count 3 in and 3 out and do that 3 times. So we go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, breathing out, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, breathing out, 1, 2, 3, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, breathing out, 1, 2, 3. For those of us who just did that, then it's very likely we really dropped into our heart to feeling more calm, present. Like it's so quick to do that. That you can do that when you're driving, cooking, in a meeting. Like you don't have to count out loud, obviously.
Yes, you're right. It's coming.
It's so cool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I felt, you mentioned calm and peace. For me, I felt joy arise as I was doing that, and to really notice what's in your heart, I think, too.
and you are full of joy, so no surprises there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's why I got so excited about the Wisdom Playground. So tell us about that. What's the Wisdom Playground?
Okay, well, the Wisdom Playground is a new era business incubator, which is sort of like this beautiful community, a global community. It's online, and we have amazing coaches, healers, practitioners, people who have fresh wisdom to uplift humanity in some way. We bring them together to support them to turn their expertise into powerful, valuable, desirable coaching and training products that their clients love, and help them get faster and easier results for their clients, but also increased income in their business. Because the truth is, sadly, only a very small percentage of coaches are truly thriving. If I call everyone healer, coach, practitioner, everyone under the banner of coach, right? From taking someone from someone from where they are to where they want to be. You wear many hats, coach, healer, whatever. But essentially, the people in this domain, this industry, sadly, very small percentage are thriving. What's really cool is we've uncovered what the successful coaches do differently to everyone else, and its particular principles and structure, which is quite fascinating for many of us who are intuitive and creative. The right structure,
yes,
and principles can actually create what is required to make a coach's life easier, better results for their clients, more money in their business. So we bring the best of ancient wisdom, spiritual wisdom, modern science, and business to co-create better ways to do things. We kind of say anything that happened BC before COVID needs a refresh, and we can take the best and create new and better ways forward.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel a lot more people were able to tap into that creativity. I know during the lockdown, at least here in Canada, that I've overheard so many people talking about how they got into different crafts and projects, and they were cleaning up their homes and just clearing out space. There was this new spaciousness that was created, and also the ability to be able to immerse ourselves in those projects and the things that we kept putting on the back burner, but also open up this creativity, this flow, this joy, this inspiration that started to flow in when we weren't bogged down so much by the normal day-to-day productive action, having to check everything compulsively and, just trying to tend to everything. But when we actually slow down and take a minute, then there's a whole world that opens up, and there's so many people since then have started to do things differently, started even being different, noticing that their old ways of working and being in the world just wasn't supporting the changes and the growth that's happened over all of this time, and being able to tap into what was truly in the heart. And it was very stressful for a lot of people too, and very distressing to go back to work, to go back to their businesses and try to find a way to continue with that, because something had changed. And I think we can really harness that opportunity for change, especially when you can turn it into this wisdom playground, right? And really notice what kind of wisdom can be drawn from that. And you talk about the world needs your wisdom, like you really advocate for that. So what is it that you're hoping will be shared for humanity? Why does the world need this so much, this wisdom?
Well, we all have our own little piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So if we're here on the planet right now, there's a reason, and we're at the most exciting time to be alive, and the world needs us to do things differently. So it's time to tap into our best of our human qualities, of all the, like you said, creativity, into our generosity, into looking at collaborating, and we all have different strengths. So if we come together, we can create so much better than what we can alone. We were conditioned to compete and do things alone and all of that, be independent, but actually humanity is going to thrive far better by coming together. It's so much more fun to come together. And we just need to find more effective ways to really utilize everyone's gifts and talents and strengths, because we all have them and they're all very unique. And everyone has wisdom, because no matter what we've been through, there has been wisdom from the experience, maybe trainings that we've done or things that we've learned. Like, there's just, everyone has wisdom to share. And it's time to embrace that, especially those who really feel in their heart there's a calling, because to follow that, it's time. It's absolutely time to have us all shine our light and make the contribution that we're here to create a better future, like our best possible future, which is possible. What I love about what happened in 2020, I love the bit that you said about people taking the pause and reflecting and making changes. I also love that it showed anything is possible. If any of us got told what was going to happen before it happened, I don't think we would have thought it could have been anywhere near possible. And the fact that it happened shows me anything's possible. So why not actually have a world that works for everyone? That is possible.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there was so much that opened up during that time when we were able to have our own space, literally had this 6-foot bubble around us, right? Where we could tune back into our own energy. And there was this quiet that came where we can actually feel into and sense and access more of our intuition, rather than just the go, 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 go all the time. But it wasn't just that, there was the clearing up of the skies and being able to see the horizons and animals reclaiming their territories, like being out on the roads. And even though, people were separated, there's so much that was being done together. It was like this solidarity, this community. In Italy, they were singing to each other through the windows, and everybody was in it together. And we, in Canada, homeless people that didn't have any shelter were suddenly being housed. I mean, that was a problem that went on for years and years, and suddenly people were housed. All this money came from somewhere to support all of these different projects that started going on. People started standing up for what they believed in, that like the social justice, the Black Lives Matter, and Indigenous people were speaking up and more. And there was so much that was a coming together, even though we were apart. And that's the part I hope will continue, that I trust will continue when we continue to gather in community, and that we support each other and we look out for each other. There was this whole gratitude campaign where there was hearts in the window, where people were cutting out these hearts and thanking all the essential workers, and the healthcare workers, and they were banging their pots and pans at a certain time every day. There was those ceremonies, those rituals that were starting to come back. And you're right, we were shown what is possible, but we are also, I think, on some level reconnecting as well to these ancient practices, to the ceremony, to ritual, to feeling and sensing and being in gratitude and supporting one another and trying to uplift each other, and I think that too comes from our wisdom that we carry. And we can also tap into our passion, our deeper sense of passion, where if you break up the word, the way I see it, it's pass I on, and that I is your soul's expression of who you are, and to be able to pass on what you came to do in this lifetime. And that too, I think, is a certain level of wisdom that we can share with humanity at this time. And Deb, what do you think we can do now to help each other and support each other and continue some of the things that came alive again in the last couple of years? How can we keep those positive aspects going? Because what I see now is a lot of regression to old behaviors and not connecting anymore. And it's just gotten really chaotic. People don't even wash their hands anymore. Like, just everything that we kind of we're trying to do better, we're just kind of revolted against, because a lot of people couldn't accept those changes, And so how can we keep the positive changes? How can we keep those things going, do you think?
That's another great question. I'm horrified to hear people aren't washing their hands.
I know.
Yes,
I can't tell you how many people I've seen.
I have noticed that a lot of people have gone back in a little bit of that rat race mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was really like, oh, when you were saying all the change, it's like, oh yeah, that's so nice. I'm hoping, but yeah, I think that
Yeah.
it's up to we have control responsibility for our own selves. So all we can really do is as as Gandhi said, be the change we want to see. So
Mm-hmm.
be the person we want to be, and the ripple of that, I believe, will be powerful beyond what we can know, because our energy is powerful. We're creating our reality. So the more we can create what we want, then that will ripple, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned a really important thing, which I feel is gratitude. The
Mm-hmm.
more we can tap into being thankful and appreciating what we do have, and celebrating each other, I think that's a really key thing for our own joy and brilliant, best life. It's it's the it's such a big one that I felt needed a definite restate. So thank you for bringing that up. How do we keep the good going? I think that it is finding communities of what we say in the Wisdom Playground. It's a like-hearted community, so it's like-minded in many ways too, but some people are going to have different opinions, and that's good. We can get curious to seek to understand. Everyone's coming from different cultures and countries and upbringings and whatever, religions, all that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
or even political parties or health choices. We can all be on different sides, but rather than not wanting to be friends with someone that thinks differently, how about we remove the judgment and we get curious and seek to understand where they're coming from? We might learn something, or even by them starting to articulate it, they may open up to different ways, and maybe not too. But it's like there is no right or wrong. We're labeling it right or wrong. And so if we can transcend judgment, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that's the one I feel, well, I feel is important. So I, of course, need to do that for myself. And connect with like-hearted communities that also want to spread love, want to uplift humanity, want to support each other's well-being on all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I feel it can happen, because those communities impact the people that are also in their lives, and that can ripple out. And I feel as humans, we're meant to collaborate and come together and unite and tap into those best of the human qualities that we have.
Yes, yes. And I can see how that would really help us thrive,
Mm.
rather than continuing to struggle and survive. Those are old ways, right? But there is another way. Like you said, we're open to newer ways of being, newer possibilities, more expansiveness, right? To
Mm.
create space and hold the capacity where we can experience many, many different types of experiences and ways of being. And as you were talking, I was reminded of a couple of quotes, actually. One of them was when I was at studying in an ashram in Bali, and there was a sign up. It was like a pulled up sign banner thing, like an upright banner, I guess. And I was sitting on a bench next to it, and I can't remember all the words, but what struck me was, instead of tolerating our differences, we learn to appreciate our differences. So when you talk about gratitude, I think a lot can be said where we start to value each other more when we can appreciate each other more, and instead of just tolerating, right? There's still some kind of arrogance and ego involved in that. But when we can appreciate, we're coming from that higher vibrational space of gratitude, of appreciation for our differences. So even if we're different, we can still appreciate each other, which reminded me of the other quote, which was, those who understand will never judge, and those who judge will never understand. Right?
Yes.
Again, coming to that mutual love, trust, and understanding, building the capacity for that, because I believe that's possible. Yeah.
I totally, yeah, those both resonate massively with me. Perfect quotes. it's a really interesting it comes back again to the responsibility for ourselves, like to really make those commitments to ourselves that are following our inner wisdom, our heart, our joy, and letting go of things that don't serve us anymore. Like, actually, only we can do that. So one of those things is letting go of judgment, is letting go of the resentment or the criticism or the all of that, and that's towards others and ourselves, right? So the more we can love ourselves and stop doubting, criticizing, judging, all of that, it's all energy. So if we're doing that to others or ourselves, it's all the same, right? So it's about, for me, just loving. We'll keep on loving, love more, love ourselves more, love others more, love the planet more, love life more, love, just keep on looking for ways to love, because everything's coming either from love or fear anyway. So where possible, just ask ourselves, how can I love even more right now? Or what would love do? Or, to really kind of bring love in even more, is my little addition to what you just said.
Yes. We do. The world needs love too. Yeah, and to really feel into that, what does love feel like? What would love do? Those are great questions, Dom. Thank you.
Yeah. And maybe some of us need to give ourselves permission to love more, to love ourselves, to discover what loving ourselves means, to discover what loving others are, to discover what loving even the people that we think we don't like. Everyone's reflecting something within us when you look at the energy piece of it, which is really cool when we brings a lot of peace, actually, when I wish the whole world read the book, The Four Agreements.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool, because anytime I'm upset, I've either taken something personally or made an assumption. So the four agreements, for those who don't know, one is be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, don't take things personally, and do the best you can. Now, so many people, I know when I'm upset, I've taken something personally, I've made an assumption, and I feel that that's happening all over the place. And how much peace would we have if we just dropped that? Like, drop the assumptions and taking things personally, and wow, that's like instant game changer.
Absolutely. Yes. What a great check-in to use those four agreements, right? To say, have I taken something personally? Am I doing my best? And yeah, it's a great check-in, a great way to check in.
Yeah. So Four Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz is the author, for anyone else. Check that out. It's easy read, very small book. Read
you certainly shared.
For everyone.
Buy for everyone. That is a great book.
Good. Yeah. That's just So yes, you asked a great question. How do we keep the positive going? There's a few ideas. I mean, I'm sure there's more. I think it would be fun to actually collaborate on this, right? Like, actually get serious about how do we do it. I have this kind of desire to do some sort of movement where we spread love and kindness globally, like a contagious disease. What if we could spread love and kindness like a disease? How fun to enroll everyone into it in some way, enroll kids in, even though often they're right, but involve musicians in creating songs about it, movies about it. I don't know. It's funny because if you look at a lot of TV shows actually do well if they have drama and fighting and a whole lot of stuff that isn't so loving and kind. And people possibly get bored by love and kindness. So it's like, how do we make love and kindness a bit more sexy, a bit more exciting, a bit more where people are obsessed with that? I don't know. You've opened that question into my brain now. So we'll see.
Yeah. So that seed has been planted, and other seeds have been planted too. There have been like choose kindness campaigns. You know, there were shirts made for that, and there's a whole day dedicated to that and different ways of doing it, and people sharing all their creative ideas of how you can share kindness and show kindness. And there's also, you know, the gratitude train that people get on, you know, trying to thank the other person and do your gratitude list. Like that became a whole movement. And there's also, you know, people who would write on rocks so that people would find them along the beach, for example. And what other trains have we saw in movements, like pay it forward, right? Or pay forward. The person ahead of you or the behind you, their coffee or their meal, or, you know, just continuing to pass it on, you know, pass on the love.
Pay it forward. I love that pay it forward, and the random acts of kindness.
Random acts, yes, exactly.
Definitely, yes, been some great movements. And yeah, maybe it's, I wonder if we could compile a list of all of them and start to bring them together and see how we can expand it again.
Yeah, so if anyone's watching out there in the audience inspired by this idea, then put in the comments what some of those are. How do you share love? How do you show kindness? And what ideas do you have to pay it forward or to expand the love, to expand the kindness, to show more appreciation for each other? I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And, you know, you talked about the book, The 4 Agreements, and what if he didn't write that book? What if he was too afraid that his message wasn't important enough, right? Any author of any book. That's why I didn't say his name again, because it could be you, whoever's listening and watching, and you, Deb, and me. Like if we didn't decide to go out, you know, on this channel or to write our books that we have or to speak in other ways, then the messages don't get out there. No books would ever be written. What if those people were too afraid and think, you know, they don't have anything to share or they're not, you know, it's not that important. So I say that because it may feel like nothing to you, but it could be very profound and have a massive effect on others. If you just allow yourself to be able to share that instead of hiding that and holding back on that. So we wouldn't have, you know, all these amazing authors out in the world that inspire us and all these speakers that we follow and so on. And just, it wouldn't be up there if we all just held back and stayed silent, right?
Yeah, even if we just impact one person, that makes it worthwhile. But also the process of doing that as a project for ourselves is going to be very worthwhile in itself as well. Even if no one else ever got to read it, it would be wonderful if they do, because like you say, potentially it's going to help people if you've got a message and to get out there. But yeah, it's time for us to actually have the courage to follow those little inspirational, creative ideas that we have, start to share more, get out of our own way in terms of judging ourselves about it, and just share. And life's short. Like, it actually doesn't matter. You know, there's it's almost like if we face our fears and go, what is actually the worst that could happen, then we realize you're going to be okay. Like if that actual worst thing happened, you're actually okay. Often we're so letting the possibility of a fear that may not even happen be bigger than if we actually really realize if it happened, we're actually going to be all right.
Yes. So yes, and you don't have to do it alone. Like, there are all of these coaches and healers and practitioners that are out there. And Deb, you mentioned about this Wisdom Playground being an incubator for all of these ideas, these messages, and to help nurture those gifts, right? So tell us a little bit more about what you do and how people can get in touch with you.
Oh, thanks. Well, our website is thewisdomplayground.com. So THE wisdomplayground.com. And what we do, we have a signature program called Skyrocket, which helps really learn those principles I mentioned that the top coaches do differently to everyone else. So that's powerful if you have wisdom and expertise and really ready to package that to create powerful products, particularly coaching and training products. And we also have a membership where we meet every week. We call all our events parties. So we have weekly collaborative learning parties.
I love that.
And that's an amazing community. And there's a structure to that in terms of quarter by quarter working on what your goals and intentions are for your business, and the product mastery is where, like, particularly my business partner Gabby is just one of the, if not the best in the world in helping design and deliver at a much higher standard than the average. There's a lot of people out there doing it right now, not even realizing there's a whole nother level of how you can do it more powerfully to get better results. So we're very passionate in that domain because we have the genius to support people go to a whole nother stratosphere in terms of how they're working with their clients and making their clients safe and helping the clients get faster and easier results. And that's what clients are buying. They're buying results. They're not really buying coaching or a training or a healing modality as much as they actually are coming because they want a result. And so really understanding that and how to ensure you can get results for your clients every single time with ease and consistency. There's some, as I mentioned the word structure before, there's some structure that can support that. So yeah, we have amazing program that's and then our membership, and we have little things that we do, like we have micro learning presentations. So we have a Facebook group where we can go live and share some of those. We're going to do a summit, like sort of a mini summit of little micro learning. So they're only like 5-minute learning pieces.
Oh, neat.
But yeah, so there's opportunities to be part of that. And yeah, lots of exciting things happening. The big vision is actually even a collaborative financial model to have a bit more combined marketing efforts as well, because as I mentioned, I just feel collaboration is so important. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah. But we have wisdom teachers from all sorts, from animal communicators to sound healers to creativity, conscious leadership, even regenerative agriculture. Yeah. So from healing, business, personal development, all sorts. It's really cool.
Incredible. Yeah, I'll make sure that I have the links for people to connect with you in the show notes there, so you can just click into that.
Thank you.
Any other final words of wisdom for us today, Deb?
Well, I feel like you hit the nail on the head to really encourage every single one of us to share more of who we are, to share more of the wisdom we have within us, whether that is a book or getting on a podcast or giving thanks to someone, and like just to be in action with sharing your love and wisdom. I feel I'm really inspired by our little conversation there, Jennifer. You're an absolute joy, and I'm going to be asking myself even, how can I do even more of that today? So thank you.
Yes. How can I do more of that? Oh, thank you, Deb. Very sweet. Thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing all of your wisdom and inspiring us to do that too. And I also want to thank each and every one of you that have been listening and watching today on Awaken and Ascend. I appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, then give us a thumbs up. I'm Jennifer Regular, your host and the Soul Illuminator at lightingthepath.ca. Happy to see you again next week. Bye for now.